This is an adult channel. This video is the presentation by Darren, Dochterman, and Neil Smith. Neil Smith is, I think he told me he was lead designer at OTOY. I mean, what more do I need to say about these two guys? Darren, he goes to Wonderfest almost every year. I got Darren's autograph right here, Darren Dochterman, and I also got Neil's autograph right here. Neil seemed kind of shocked that I wanted his autograph, but I mean, he was such a nice guy. I was talking to him. He's building, among many things, he himself is building the Phase 2 Enterprise for OTOY's website. Now, you can go to do a search for RenderCon, and they talk about it, and you'll see a picture of the Phase 2 Enterprise, which I had to ask him because from the images that I've seen of the Phase 2 Enterprise that Neil's making, it's different. It's different from the Eagle Moss model that I've got. OTOY is working with Roddenberry on the Roddenberry archive, so they would know. So I am very anxious to see what the Phase 2 Enterprise ends up looking like that Neil's building. You have to understand, and they go into it in this presentation. I mean, OTOY, you know, their latest vignette is reunification. I've watched that like 12 times. It's so good. All their content is so good, and it's unlisted for copyright purposes. And they go into reasons that they've done things in this presentation. It is so informative, and they're going to try to build a real working holodeck. That's the CEOs of OTOY's goal, is to build a working holodeck. And these renders that they're making, that they're building, these aren't just like game renders. These things are detailed to the bolt heads that hold the chairs and the floors. That's how detailed these things is. This is, if you want to learn more about OTOY, what they're doing, how deep it is, Darren Dochterman, he talked at the very end. I don't know if it's in this video because I recorded so much. I mean, he worked on Master and Commander, and I didn't realize it. Some people consider Master and Commander the greatest Star Trek movie ever made. I think Wrath of Khan is, but you know, Master and Commander is not a Star Trek movie, but I guess there are parallels with Star Trek in that movie. Darren's worked on so many things, and he's deep into Star Trek, into the lore, and they talk about the conference calls that they have once a week. Okuda's on the call. There's so many people on the conference call. All right, I'm going to stop talking. Watch this video. It's cool as hell. Live long and prosper. Live prosperly and long.
The production designer at the Roddenberry design director. What is your actual title?
My actual title is Senior Technical Artist.
Okay. He's only technically an artist.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, he's one of the finest artists and 3D modelers I've ever known, and we're glad to have him as the leader of the team, and he's working on the Enterprise as we speak. Even now. There we are. There it is. Where's the cursor? There we go. Oh, good. There, okay. And enjoy. Hopefully there's sound. There is some sound. Oh, it's just coming out of my computer. It's a good idea.
You know, without sound, it's an art film.
Hear it better?
Turn your volume.
There are always possibilities, but and if Genesis is indeed life from death, I must return to this place again.
horrible thing and shut it off before all the credits run. And please go to roddenberry.x.io and you can see this again in its full form. As you can see, we had several people in this movie. Only some of them were actually on set, which was is a fascinating thing. That Neil was part of as well, that did this and the other shorts that we've done previously. But what we do weekly is we work steadfastly to replicate everything that you've seen in Star Trek for the past 60 years. It's a big job, but we're working diligently to complete it. And I'm not going to run this slideshow normally because I just discovered this morning that Keynote has a problem with changing the slides. When you put it into play mode, there's no way to change the slides without some jiggery-pokery that I don't know anything about. So I'm going to open this up a little bit so you can see better. And I'm just going to take you through some things that we've been working on. And you may recognize them. Oh. No, I'm not going to. Like Neil, we have how many? Like seven regular core members.
7 full-time.
And a few stringers, experts on certain things. And it is an amazing group of artists who not only are good at what they do, but they love Star Trek. And they know everything about it. And it's really a lot of fun. So I'm just going to take you through a few of the images here. This is our original TOS bridge. And I hesitate to call it TOS because it's Star Trek, folks. This is Star Trek for most of us. And the adherence to what we remember of Star Trek is really important. And the details count, but also the general feel of it counts. And these guys have done an amazing job recreating this. This is a virtual bridge. This is not an actual physical set. This is all in cyberspace, as we call it. Remember Tron? Yeah, it's kind of like that. So we have been bouncing around back and forth between various stages of Star Trek during the past 60 years. We've done work on Voyager, and this is not, anything you see here is not from any of the shows. It is not frame grabs. It is all generated from our little group. But for those of you who like Voyager, here's the Voyager. And this is not Discovery. This is the actual concept by Ralph McQuarrie for Star Trek Planet of Titans. And this is what he came up with. We have a little video of his design. And we've tried to come as close as possible to how it might have looked had they actually produced this early film idea. Of course, Ralph McQuarrie was known for his amazing designs on Star Wars, and you can see a little bit of the influence on the shape of the secondary hull. And later this idea was used for Discovery for greater or lesser effect. I'll leave that to you to debate. We have stuff from quote-unquote modern Trek. We have Strange New Worlds. This is Captain Pike's quarters and his kitchen area. But like with everything, we try to come as close as possible to the real thing. And we try to match the color temperature of the lights. We try to match all the materials. And we try to match certainly the camera angles seen in the shows so that we're easily able to compare the real thing and our example. If anyone has any questions during any of this, feel free to raise your hand. I'm sorry, you gotta speak a little louder, I can't hear you.
Is any of this like VR?
It is. And a bunch of this stuff is up on, right now, exclusively on the Apple Vision Pro platform. And if you have one of those, and I only know one person who has one, I can't afford one, but we have an app called The Archive on there. And you can go through and you can find a bunch of this stuff and more later. Yes?
So when is this coming to the MetaQuest?
Well, that's a good question. There is progress moving forward to moving it to other platforms, and that's all I can say at the moment. But yes, we are thinking to branch it out as much as we can, pending contractual requirements with the previous holders. I'll leave it at that. And this is the J.J. Abrams Star Trek 2009 ship. I know. It's okay. We feel you, but we have a responsibility for the bigger picture, and I understand.
I think that's the reset.
This is the Promenade from Deep Space Nine, and it is completely identical to the stage sets. It's really incredible. Most of the set dressing is represented. It's frankly, it's a nightmare. Just saying that out loud. But it's really fun to walk through. And if you go to roddenberry.x.io, is that right? Yeah. You can visit all these, not in VR, but you can look at them in your browser. And it's not quite as immersive, but it's still fun. And you can walk through all this.
Yeah, they're all still walkable, full
Yeah.
3D. You just don't have goggles on.
Right. Which may or may not be a good thing. I'm just saying. We also go into a little lower decks with these Cerritos. And we'll show you an interior, which is quite fascinating, the way we have to change sort of the render procedure to do an animated show. And yes, we have done stuff for Star Trek, the original animated series. I don't think any of that is in this presentation now. Here's, this is from Strange New Worlds. And here's a little animation of quarks, and you'll see what it's all attached to. Oh, look, it's in a space station. I know that. I've seen that on TV someplace. Here we have the adored 10 forward. And unfortunately, we only have virtual synthahol at the moment. So we don't have any of the secret stash yet. Here's what I was talking about before, the Discovery. This is from First Contact, yes?
Yep.
And the configurations of all these bridges are pretty much the first thing that we attempted to do. We attempted to do all of the Enterprise bridges first and have that as a big release when we first started to do this. And so you can basically click in between all the bridges, and you're standing on the bridges, and you can click a button, and it changes around you, and it's fun.
Darren?
Yes.
What are you extrapolating from? Is it blueprints?
We have some blueprints sometimes when we're lucky. We also have an extensive range of screen captures. We have common knowledge amongst the artists who have built versions of these in the past in a non-licensed way. We have, an extensive expertise that goes into laying out all of these things. And I think in some of these instances, we definitely have at least a plan for what the sets look like. And it's a big task to try and camera match the virtual sets to any reference that we have. And that's a lot of what we go through during our every weekly Friday meetings. We're comparing the new work to the existing work, and it's a bit of a slog, but it's in the end it's worth it. Maybe not to the artists at the time, because you can put a lot of work into something that is wrong. But there's no.
There's a lot of fan-made blueprints out there. There's a lot of official blueprints out there. 80% of the time, it doesn't match what you saw on television or on film, because there's a vast difference between looking at a blueprint and then how they actually build it for the film. And so we will go by, we will find what those are, what those differences are, and revise accordingly.
And I'm guessing at some point, you have to just kind of fill in the blanks.
Sometimes.
But there's just no information.
Sometimes, because sometimes even on the show, there are changes to the sets that were never documented on the blueprints. They say, okay, well this doesn't work necessarily, so let's figure this out off paper.
And sometimes, like in TNG especially, there's like half a set built.
Right.
Because we're going to shoot from this angle, and we're never going to turn the camera around and shoot over there. So that is extrapolated based on other sets that were shown in TNG, other design styles from the artists who originally designed those sets.
Right.
And we
shape and color language that we're used to from that environment. Yes?
So, this might be a silly question. Is this for documentation purposes solely, or will it be used in future productions?
That's a good question. Originally, the Roddenberry Archive was set up by Rod Roddenberry and the Roddenberry estate to preserve the legacy of all of these shows and the work of Gene Roddenberry and to not let it be forgotten. This is not for us now necessarily. This is for whoever is looking for this in 50 years, right? And so it is definitely to document what these spaces were. But as we continue having a lovely relationship with the studio, and we are officially licensed through the studio to put this stuff out, it is people are starting to talk about how maybe some of this stuff may be used in some sort of production method. So it's we certainly are open to all of that, and we make our assets available to the studio for any purpose.
Video games come to mind.
Video games, what are those?
Has anybody been in touch with you guys about this?
It's still a bit of a nebulous thing because the video game companies have their own teams that do this kind of stuff, and they don't necessarily want to hand it over to another group. So there are a lot of fiefdoms and castles strewn all across the licensee arena. So
there's also the fact that video games, when they do 3D objects for video games, they're very simplified.
Right.
And there's not a lot of detail when you get right up on it. And our
models are not simplified.
No, our models are extremely complicated. You can get up to the chair and see the stitching on the side of the chair. We have.
If anyone's into that, I personally
you can pick up a prop from like TOS or something and flip it over the side, and you can see screw holes and nuts and bolts and stuff like that.
Wow.
Little thumbprints and imperfections that we put into the models. It's incredibly detailed work. Because like Darren said, our primary job is to reproduce all this stuff so that in 100 years from now, somebody can see, oh, what did the phaser actually look like?
Yes, sir.
So like, how did it kind of make the jump phase from saying the archive just having like pictures on the web of
Sure.
walks from TNT or something like that? Okay, let's create these, these digital models down to the stitching and checking.
I think some of that came from, obviously, at first they started just by scanning paperwork and photos. And that started the archive process. But because the company OTOY is, basically an integral part in the pipeline of all these visual effects companies, the act of rendering these things out is like second nature to the technicians of the company. So it grows out of what sort of company OTOY is, and we have the ability to do this, so why not go full bore and try and include everything in as detailed a manner as possible. Question?
Are the consoles functional as you in the show?
Functional.
Yeah, Easter eggs and things like that, you zoom in and see
Uh,
the artists.
Well, not officially.
Yeah, you can't go on there, hit a button, and fire the phasers. As much as
Right.
everybody would like to, at this moment you can't. But yes, they
show.
They
all
look
link
like
to the
they do
show.
in the
They
show.
all- In fact, there's an interesting story. One of our artists, Donnie Versaja, was tasked with building the engineering set from TOS, and those big panels of blinking lights. He did some research and found out that those were done by, you've got a panel which has holes in it for the lights.
They're not blinking lights.
Then there's a piece of plexiglass in between that and the wall, and that has little photographic gels on it of different colors. And there was a guy off camera behind the set who was literally just pulling these and sliding them back and forth. And Donnie did the research and figured out what the timing was. It varied from from episode to episode because it was a guy and wasn't a machine.
Yeah.
But he kind of came up with an average. And you look at the thing that he made, and because he made it digitally, the way it was made in the 60s physically, it looks identical. And it's just amazing.
So is there a guide?
No, we don't
not,
have.
not a digital guy, no.
We can't afford the union rates to have the guy moving the slot. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let me go forward a little bit. This is from Star Trek Prodigy. And here's a lovely view of the, I guess this is the crew lounge and cafeteria. And they have their 16 by 9 TV set, which is fascinating because this was made in 1966, and they arbitrarily picked this dimension for their video screens, and the main screen on the Enterprise is basically 16 by 9, and you'll find this if you go to Ticonderoga as well. The space has not been changed from the blueprints at all, but you can fit a 16 by 9 TV perfectly in there. And they made a modern TV screen in 1966, which I found astonishing. And of course we have our fancy painted plants in the back. And all of the toys and games that they play in the crew lounge. This, of course, is Regula 1, outer space station par excellence, which was a reuse of the amazing space office complex from Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Now here is from the cage. This is the conference room from the cage, which is completely different from the one in the regular series, but it has some great elements in it that would later appear in later versions of the series. And here's a lovely picture of the old girl, this has been noodled over more than anything in the archive, because we all want to get it absolutely perfect. And of course, anytime anyone gets a new 3D modeling program, you just automatically make an enterprise. That's just what you do. You know, all of our artists have done that, and this is a pretty good result. So we also have sets that were never actually made. This was going to be the bridge from what was known as Star Trek Phase 2, the original aborted new series that was coming out in the late 70s, until it was canned and turned into Star Trek the Motion Picture. But this is from design paintings by several people. And we found the furniture that they were intending to put in there, and all the details that some were later used in the motion picture, but a lot were not. Like, what is this thing next to the turbo lift? I don't know.
Nomad.
But it's there, and it's in the blueprints, and I'm sure it would have played an important part in one of the episodes of Star Trek Phase 2.
Darren, are you able to call out all the people? I think
Mike Miner did these concept pieces, yeah. Because he worked extensively on Phase 2 and helped sort of establish that. At the time, it was a very interesting cross between what we got in Star Trek the Motion Picture and the remnants of original series. It's sort of a strange hybrid that would have been fascinating to see. Here is the Enterprise E from First Contact and later.
So this turnaround that we're seeing here, this is exactly the type of thing you'll see if you go to roddenberry.x.io. And you can also then hit a 3D navigation button, which then you can use your mouse or whatever and just spin it around, twist it, make it bigger, make it smaller, and everything like that. If I, as an artist, had a tool like that when I was growing up, I would be like, yeah, that's a bomb.
You wouldn't have forced yourself to get better. You just
No.
would have stagnated, just like the Telosians.
I would have screenshot the whole heck of the thing and just called it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here is our beloved transporter room from the cage. You can see the different transporter control platform that was used as the navigation console on the bridge as well. They doubled up because they didn't have enough money. Here is one of my least favorite things in Space Dock. I think it's ludicrous, but lots of people love it, and here it is for all to see. This was an idea by Leonard Nimoy. I want a very large structure in orbit that all the starships can be stored in, and I think it'll be great. And that's what we have, a giant space mushroom. So here's our interior of the bridge from lower decks. And you can see it looks just like a painted backing. But this is fully immersive 3D that you can walk through and look at, and it's like you're in the Flintstones, or lower decks. Here is that ship, the NX-01, from Star Trek Enterprise. So a lot of our crew absolutely cut their teeth on the Next Generation, and they absolutely love it, and they have lovingly recreated every inch of the Enterprise scene. And it's truly a labor of love to see, to walk through these things and see all of the detail and all of the atmosphere, and all of the various LCARS displays. They go crazy over the LCARS displays. Yes. And every detail is matched from some photos of auctions that happen where these pieces have been sold off, and they find this reference and they match every single letter and dot on the LCARS displays. It's really fascinating.
And if we can't find it, like on auction or something like that, chances are it's in Mike and Denise's garage. And
Yeah.
send us a photo of it.
And Mike says like 3 weeks later, oh, I think I have that.
Yeah.
And then the next day, there it is, and they had just wasted so much time on it. But no, it usually happens before that, and Mike is an invaluable resource for this stuff.
There she is.
Here is our favorite movie enterprise. Actually, it's my favorite enterprise of all time.
Yep.
The glorious, what they call the 1701 refit. No bloody A, B, C, or D. But in my opinion, it never looked better than it did in Star Trek The Motion Picture. And we tried to sort of capture that feel in this iteration of it. And as Neil can tell you, I am extremely annoying when I'm talking about color temperature of various lights.
No, not annoying.
No, not annoying.
We are extremely. It's funny because when we have our Friday meetings, we kind of from time to time go hard on each other and say, no, this is wrong. And I just spent 2 weeks on this. I don't care. It's wrong. And I built this model, and it's been how do I call it? Difficult joy.
It's been a long road leading from there to here.
Yeah. Because Darren would be like, hey, that spotlight going up the side of the neck, that is the wrong color. And I'm like, okay, well, if I'm looking at this frame here. He goes, no. In real life, it's this color, and that's the color it should be. I was like, great. And that's what we go through with everything we build. We from the smallest little prop to the largest, like DS9, we go through this whole process of making sure that what we are preserving, because these physical models aren't going to be around forever. I mean, we just lost the freaking dry dock in California because of the fires. It's gone from motion picture. It doesn't exist anymore. Fortunately, we've got lots of photography of it. We've got, and one of our artists rebuilt it and everything like that. But all those little wrigglies, all those little details and everything, we're not going to put something on there if it wasn't on the model. So we go through this really long process of saying, yeah, this is right. Hey, that thing that's like that by that, it should be that by that. And whereas on a normal circumstances, you might think, oh, our artists are going to get frustrated with all this stuff. No, we love this stuff. I love being told by Donnie or Tadeo, one of our other artists, that what I did was wrong, because then I get the chance to make it right. And that's the most important part.
I'll remember that next month.
Yes.
How is the project being funded?
The project is funded through various sources, mostly by the Roddenberry estate. And they have graciously set forth an amount to keep this project going for a certain amount of time. And we certainly are looking for legitimate ways to monetize things. But we're not there yet. It's still basically a labor of love by the family and OTOY, and they're both contributing to keeping it going.
So this one, if I may, the refit, this was the one that I've been working on for years now, and this was presented to me by Jules Urbach, the CEO of OTOY, when he brought me onto the archive. He said, what I want to do, the ultimate goal of the archive is the holodeck. And we are not there yet. We won't be there yet for many years. We've both seen holograms and hints of holograms. Like I'm saying to you guys, like Princess Leia holograms. that actually work, that technology is like right over there. And not this year, not next year, but maybe the year after that, or maybe 5 years down the road. So what we're doing is we're building all these assets, we're recreating all of these things for a technology, as far as a presentation technology, that doesn't exist yet. But what Jules told me, what he wants to do, this is, the Refit Enterprise is going to be our one-to-one scale recreation of the Enterprise digitally. So we are going from deck 1 all the way down.
Yeah, contrary to popular belief, deck 78 is not at the top.
And so that's been my labor of love for the past several years, is building out the entire interior of the Refit.
Every square inch.
Yes. And we're using that based on plans that were initially designed by Laura Johnson, who I'm sure some of you know is the author of Mr. Scott's Guide to the Enterprise. We have a tier of things I need to hit. Number one is the film. If it didn't look like that in the film, get rid of it. I don't care if it was on a blueprint. I don't care if it was on a production sketch. If it looked like a certain way on the film, that's number one. Number two is the Kimball drawing, the cutaway from 1979.
David Kimball did the cutaway, the famous painting.
Yeah, that's our second reference to go by. So if there's something different from our plans that Laura Johnson did that's not on the Kimball drawing, then that gets nixed, and we put it in the ship like that. And then the third reference is going to be the plans that we're going by, and we're slowly getting through it, but it's
tough,
it's an
especially
amazing
for
thing.
especially for spaces that have not been seen anywhere. Right?
Yeah.
Which there are a lot of them, because we've only seen a fraction of stuff of the Enterprise in the films.
And that's one of the cool things conceptually. We're building things that weren't seen on film. You're like, what do the bathrooms look like? They have them. You know, what do they look like? And so, as a designer, it's by far the most challenging design project I've ever worked on, because I don't want you to look at that and say, Neil, that's a great toilet. You know, I want you to say, wow, Harold Michelson designed a great toilet back in 1977. You know, so what I'm building has to look like Andy Probert or Harold Michelson designed it and then handed it off to the crew, and they built it in 1977. You know, and
There's a very specific visual language that specifically Star Trek the Motion Picture has.
yeah,
That-
I'm good at that. You bleed that. And
Well, no,
so
we work well together because you come up with some great ideas, and I'm able to see it with a different eye and
Mhm.
maybe steer you in a different direction slightly.
Yeah.
But not all that much.
No, it's not different. It's after working on this specifically for like the last, I don't know, like 2-3 years, I've noticed my initial design idea is very rapid copy.
Right.
And then you steer me back and say, no, it's a little
Pull
bit
it back
more.
a little
Yeah,
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's so much fun. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
This is the most fun job I've ever had.
Oh, by far. I mean, I'm designing the interior of the Enterprise.
Yeah. It's truly magic. Let me walk forward
Yeah.
with that. This was seen in the recreation deck, the paintings that Decker says all these ships were named Enterprise. This is the first one. This is what we call the ring ship, and it's in canon. It's based on a similar Vulcan ship that they had, I believe, in Enterprise. But this was originally in the Spaceflight Chronology book in 1979. And it's a fun design, and we have, at some point, animations of this, which will be probably fun.
Hey, Darren,
Yes?
is there any truth to the story that this design came from Matt Jeffries from some other more
Well,
Roddenberry?
it is one of the sketches that Matt Jeffries did in exploring the ideas for the original TV Enterprise. And that's where it came from for Star Trek the Motion Picture. And I think maybe Rick Sternbeck might have been.
Yeah, he did a little
drawing
drawing on it, and then it was flushed out before Rick with Lincoln Enterprises.
Right.
They sold it as they sold it as like a Starship or something like that.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Another look at the conference room, briefing room for those who want to Star Trek. Here's the TV ship, and again the struggle to make it look like it did on TV but better is a tough seesaw to be on. Because if you go too far in one way, it stops looking like the Enterprise that you're used to. And if you go too far the other way, it just looks bad. But I think we're pretty close on this one in terms of how the TV Enterprise was lit and how they would have done it if they used modern cameras and things like that. But again, it's a difficult look to nail.
Yeah. Oh, even the stars are different.
The stars are different, yeah.
Because we wanted to match what the stars look like in the original series.
Yep.
And so, like, if you see the Enterprise D, the stars in the background are going to look different because they use a different way of doing it.
Here's the bridge of the Voyager. Coffee cups are missing.
They're in the nebula.
Yes. Here's the fantabulous Romulan, what do they call it? The Warbird. And you know, we started with only Federation stuff, and we're getting into the aliens and other characters, ships. We've done some great Klingon stuff.
The Katinga is not out yet, but when it is, oh, chef's kiss. It's gorgeous. The guy building it was
perfect.
just, he went in and we have some excellent references of that, and every single little greeble has been identified, like, where did this come from? Okay, let's look at that, let's see what did they do to it before they stuck it on the model, and we do that, and then we stick it on the model, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Here's a little look at that. This is a couple versions back.
Yeah.
And it's pretty close, but the new one is perfect. And of course, you gotta have the interior. This is a miraculous recreation by Donnie Rousseau. And, you know, we took specific efforts to make it look exactly like it does in motion picture, and you nailed it.
Did they ever explain the steamy?
The steamy look?
Yeah.
Oh,
Alien.
Klingons are very hot-blooded creatures, and they like it a little toasty. The Cerritos and its fluttering engine. I don't know why these movie clips are short. Yeah. Here's the regular series version of the transporter room. Although it's slightly different than the cage version, but it's iconic. I use that word a lot. But again, it matches up exactly with what we've seen on the show. And yes, here's another view of the motion picture Enterprise. And we have all our ships facing the same way in the archive, and this bugs me a little bit because this ship was only seen by the other side in Star Trek: The Motion Picture, because Robert Wise wanted to have all the action going right to left in the movie, because the Enterprise only went left to right in the TV series. So he wanted to show the audience the other side that they've never seen before.
Except for that one scene I showed you where it's going to.
Well, yeah, but yeah. But even then, on the show, they had reversed decals so they could do that one shot.
Yep.
And they never wanted to do that again. This is Strange New Worlds, I think. And again, the movie was short. Something's going on.
No, those are from the travel logs, so they are just.
Oh, okay. A good view of the Dabo game room in Port's Bar. Another view of the NX-01.
Darren, is there a view of the Pato Guzman bridge?
We did one.
Oh, you did one.
We did one. I don't have it in this stack.
I just thought I had seen one.
Yeah, it is on the site.
Yeah, that is a crazy bridge.
Yeah.
I love that bridge.
Yeah, it's very unlike anything you've ever seen before, especially how we sort of made it real. Yes, sir.
Yeah, with a TV show, if something did change in the show, do you do both versions of it? Do you pick one?
Sometimes we decide which season we're going to duplicate, and if that change is a drastic thing, we try to have both versions. It's difficult because we only have limited resources to do this, but we try to make a learned judgment as to what to include and not include. And when we can't include it, we do make a note on it saying this was different in episode whatever.
For example, on the TOS bridge, we've got an animated series TOS bridge. We have seasons 1, 2, 3. We have the Cage bridge. And then on, like for the Enterprise D, we've got season 1, we've got season 7. We did not do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but we have generations. So if it's a major change, we will try and do that.
Here is our preservation of the dry dock that was lost in the fire this year. But it looks pretty good. It lives on in the digital realm. We're just about out of time, so I'm going to show you a series of clips that we didn't show publicly before. So keep it quiet, because technically the studio told us not to show it because it looked too much like the original.
Yeah.
So keep this a secret. Where is here it is. This is nothing from the film is shown in this. This is all a recreation. You can hear the music in your mind, can't you? The people that put this together are so in love with this subject, and we want to do our best to preserve it and replicate it in the most convincing way possible. I mean, look at this. This looks like it was just from the show. It's a lot cleaner.
Yeah. And honestly, that's something that we deal with. We actually do. I know the artist, the animator who worked on this. His name is Jim Hibbert, and he did. He actually put a soften filter on all of the renders, because when we saw his original renders, everything was so clean, so crisp, and I was like, oh, this does not look like 1979.
Yeah.
And so we didn't go crazy and make it, really dirty or anything, but just a little bit of softening.
Just enough to set it into film land.
Yeah.
And we pay close attention to all these things because we love it and we want to preserve it and we want to save it for future generations to enjoy. And that's our little presentation. So thank you so much for spending some time with us. We appreciate you, and I'll be at my table for the rest of the afternoon until they take us out. And feel free to come by and say hi. Thank you, everybody.